Still joining.
Good morning. Welcome to Conversations with Anasa. We're going to give everybody a chance to get in before we start. Here we go. Welcome to Conversations with Anasa on Christmas Eve. So happy to see you guys. Okay, Christmas Eve it is. Hi, welcome. So we celebrate everything because life should be, could be, if we will it to be, a celebration every day. Because what are the alternatives? Not very much fun. So it's good to have days we celebrate especially, but it's even better to celebrate every day. To really, really feel the love for the people in our lives and make sure as best as we can that they experience it too. Because otherwise, what other purpose does our life really have? You know, what else can we do but to first make sure that we're happy and then spread that everywhere we go? I mean, how noble is that as a goal for every day, to be happy no matter what? And that doesn't mean that we pretend to be happy. It means that we look for the joy even within the great sadness that happens to all of us. There is a kernel of joy because we are alive, and that life itself has as its foundation joy. And there is nobody who truly loves us who wouldn't want us to be joyful. There are lots of people that we meet who don't know joy, have never known joy, and get jealous if they see it. But that doesn't mean that we should stop doing it, because then we're an example of what's possible. Even though our lives, as we age, it's tough. Things happen, and just holding our body together is a big deal. It's hard. What they say, that aging is not for wimps. That's the truth. That's the truth. It's hard. And if we can find humor in our own situation, no matter how dire it is. Andrew's father, John, was really good at that. There was one night I will never forget when, the most humiliating thing that can happen to a person, he fell off the toilet and he was stuck in between the toilet and the wall, and there was no way we could get him out of there. We had to call the fire department. He was 98 years old. This was several weeks before he died, and he was still in pretty good shape. So the fire department comes, and there's this woman who has come before that he decided he was in love with. And as soon as she walks in the bathroom, he's like, "Oh, I'm saved." and by the time they kind of got him out of the bathroom, and he had a big cut on his head, so they had to take him to the hospital. But by the time they got him out of the bathroom, he came out, he was standing up, and he had on a diaper. And there were like 10 people in the room, and he had everybody in hysterics. I don't even remember what he said, but it was so funny that it was just unbelievable. And here's this guy, 2 weeks before he's about to die, and 98, he just had the most humiliating experience that we can imagine. He fell off the toilet and got stuck. And we had to call the fire department, and he's making jokes, and everybody is laughing as they're wheeling him down the hall to take him to the hospital. He's bleeding like crazy. And it's just amazing. I never had an experience before or since like that. And he was somebody who, no matter what happened, he managed to find joy in it. I remember one time sitting in the hospital, we had no idea. We thought he was having a stroke. And this doctor was trying to take his history. And he couldn't hear what the doctor was asking him. And he finally looks at the doctor very seriously and says, "Did you ask if I'm in heat?" And everybody, including the doctor, just burst out laughing because it was so absurd. But that's the kind of thing that he would do in the middle of, what anybody else would call a tragedy. So, and he's somebody who decided to move into an ashram with us. He was 92 years old when he decided he wanted to be in the ashram. I mean, what mental flexibility. He had taught biology, he taught science at Princeton his entire life. And at 92, he decided that something special was happening and he didn't want to be away from it, basically. So anyway, there's never a reason not to find the joy in the moment. And who knows what he was feeling in his body. Although he didn't hesitate to tell us when he was in pain. But who knows, in those moments where most of us would feel just total humiliation, he would find something funny about the situation. Or he would be in love with somebody. Every woman he met, he fell in love with. And the younger, the better. It was just part of how he had fun. So, the point is that let's make our lives a celebration every single day, not just the special days. Because we have a lot to celebrate. The biggest thing that we get to celebrate is that we know joy. Even if we can't manage to stay there most of the time, we still know what it feels like. And so we can aspire to be that. And it's not like a Pollyanna that's, trying to pretend something that doesn't exist. It's a deeply heartfelt gratitude for being alive, that we've had these lives where we get to change. We don't have to be stuck in the same old, dirty dishwater mud puddle that we grew up in. We actually get to change our inner state because it's completely mutable. Our inner state can change. I had such an amazing experience yesterday. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I was really, really crabby. And I was walking down the hall, and this voice just came and said, "This isn't the truth." And I was like, what? And it was gone. The crabbiness just totally disappeared. Now, that was a gift. That has never happened to me before, and I don't expect it to ever happen again. But it was a total gift to understand in that moment that what I was feeling wasn't real. It had nothing to do with anything except how I woke up, and who knows what I was dreaming. I'm glad I didn't remember because it wasn't any fun. So we have this in ourselves. It's a treasure, and we can choose it anytime we want. And we are taught that there are only certain appropriate times to choose it, and those usually have holidays next to them. Because the truth is, when we choose it, so does everybody around us. Because nobody really wants to feel bad. Nobody does. unless they're so convinced that they don't have a choice, that they want everybody to feel as bad as they do. I mean, that happens to all of us once in a while. But, we have a choice. And once we really understand deeply that we have a choice, we can make it. We don't have to feel bad. The physical stuff, we do the best we can. It's hard aging. It's hard being alive. We don't really know what death is going to be. We have some ideas that it's better to die open than shut. That we're pretty sure of. Oh, we didn't meditate yet. Sorry. Let's meditate. Let's get our energy going. So take a deep breath into the energy center below your belly button. And see if you can have your entire mind drain down into that energy center. The image we have at this moment is like there's a funnel draining all the energy into that center. And then as it flows in, it just expands like this pool of warm, sunny light. Deep in our belly. And we just allow our whole beingness to rest in that space. Feeling for peace. And then we drop our attention deep down and say hello to Mother Earth. Big thank you for the source of our everything that we are. Our physicalness comes from the earth. Every breath we take comes from the earth. When you're ready, come up to the tip of your tailbone. You might feel a little warmth there. And breathe into the space between the breaths. And now feel into the connection back and forth between the energy center at the base of our spine and the one in our belly. Try inhaling in one and exhaling out the other. And then inhaling back into that one and exhaling out the other. And when you're ready, move your attention up to the base of the rib cage, the solar plexus. And then to the heart center. When you're ready, move your attention up to your throat center. I think we were at the throat center. I got lost in my energy. And when you're ready, up to the third eye and out the top of your head. Take your time, go at your pace. Gently feel the energy circulating in and around you. Now we're going to remind you of the place of the witness at the back of the head. When you're ready, gently open your eyes and be in two places at the same time. How may we serve this morning? I like having this beautiful Buddha over my head. So wonderful. Hmm. Joy is infectious, and we want to give it to everybody we meet. So I have to confess, I never understood how we got from baby Jesus to reindeer to Santa. That connection was never clear to me. And the truth is, although the patriarchy ruling the Catholic Church is probably better than it has been in decades, it's still a patriarchy enforcing its will on people, separating them from the God within. And that to me is the most unforgivable sin that exists in nature. Animals are never separate from God. They're never separate. And maybe we would be better off too if we didn't have a choice. But we do have a choice. And so, because we in particular actually know we have a choice, that's the biggest gift any human being can get, is to know we have a choice about being connected to that which is our birthright, our own divinity. And that's where the joy comes from. Because that is the most joyous celebration we can ever make, is our connection to God herself. Right inside us. And all we have to do is feel and feel and feel and feel until we know it, till we really know it. Or capital KNOW, know it. And then we are it. And every once in a while, our halo slips and we forget. That's okay. We just put it back on and enjoy being together. Enjoy being together with our own essence, which is our connection to divinity. We are so lucky. How may we serve? Anybody have a question or an answer or anything in between? We're so happy to be with you in celebration. It's interesting, the whole aging thing, because it begins to, it really changes the future, how we view the future. Instead of viewing the future as an opportunity for our creativity, it starts to look like something else. So how to accept it all and still be joyful. So there's a kind of letting go of having life our way, having our way. Understand that life has its own way. And we do the best we can to keep ourselves healthy as we can, as long as we can. And when that shifts and the physical difficulties arise, we adjust as best we can, staying happy. Because we always consider the alternative. And then what's the choice? You make the best choice you can, which is to be joyful and let go. Let go of everything as it's appropriate. When it's time to stop driving, stop driving. We're starting to consider if it's possible, or, when, what, and where we're going to go for some community as we age, where we want to live and die. And since both of us have been comfortable in community forever, we're looking for something like that where we can be safe and cared for and die in peace. So we're starting to try to organize all that, see what's possible. Maybe it's not possible. Maybe it is. We don't know. So we're going to look and see what's there. The worst thing that happens is we'll age in place where we are, which is not a bad place. So we're not too worried about the future in that way, but we're thinking about it. And so the future, instead of being about creative possibility, is about, creating the space to die. And that's very interesting. The space to let go of whatever needs to be let go of in a given time period. To allow ourselves to be at peace no matter what. Understanding that we will let go of our body and our mind. Maybe at the same time and maybe not. But we will let go of everything. And there's no better way to practice for that than meditation, where we cultivate the opportunity to experience ourselves as spirit. As union with the all of the all that is. Understanding that surrender is the recognition that that's what we're made of. And so when we practice that every day, we're practicing die. Letting go of the body and feeling what's left. That which doesn't change. So how may we serve this morning? Christmas Eve day. Yes.
What did you talk about in terms of sense of well-being, and that sometimes there appears to be energies or entities that attach to us and under stress that make it harder for us to see, to get to the happiness or the clarity. Is this your experience?
So Andrew's asking about energies or entities that attach to us that make it hard for us to experience our own well-being. So these experiences usually appear to us to be happening from outside of us, like some influence comes in and we appear to be harmed either in the immediate time frame or in anticipation of some harm over time. And these things have a dulling effect on our senses and make us feel as though we're under attack, quite literally. And we may be under attack from some outside source. You know, if we're particularly energetically sensitive, we can be completely right that somebody's attacking us. So what do? Well, the first thing we do is we let go of that energy. So we're not making it worse than it is by our own fear or anger or depression or whatever reaction we have to it. We allow ourselves to experience that reaction. And then we let it go as we can. And it will come back. And we continue to allow ourselves to feel it and let it go. And understand that in this particular moment, even though the energy is there, that our best thing that we can possibly do is to completely let go of any reaction to it, because any reaction feeds the negativity that's coming toward us. Because that negativity comes from, ultimately, from other human beings who are blaming their situation on others. And that creates a lot of negative power that we may rightly intuit is coming toward us. If we fight it by holding up even a shield like that, what happens to energy that runs into a shield, that runs into an obstruction? It goes back and it creates more and more force around that object that it's coming toward. So that doesn't help. You can't exactly return to sender. What you do is you rise up to the Inasa temple. And if you don't know where it's coming from, you speak to the situation itself. You address the negativity as negativity that you don't really understand why it's coming toward you. And that's fine. And you ask for help to turn your own energy into love. And that love is for your own connection to your divinity. This is the only thing really worth loving, is love itself. Until we become that. And then we send that in all directions, because we know that the only thing that heals is love. And the only way to get out of these situations is to rise above them. To actually go to the Inasa temple, allow ourselves to experience whatever it is we are feeling. turn ourselves into love with the help of our guides, angels, however we frame it. And Anasa Temple is good because we're here with Anasa. It's easy to access for us. We've been there a lot. So go to the Anasa Temple, ask to be guided, ask to be filled with love. Let go of anything that's not love. And the light comes in. We have to hang on to the darkness to keep it close to us. So let go of the dark and the light comes in. Or hold to the light and the dark disappears, however you look at it. And we spread that light with everything we have. So what have we done? We have changed ourselves. We have little to say about what happens in other people. That's not up to us. That's not why we're here. We do the best we can. We do the best we can, but we understand fundamentally the only thing we can control is ourselves. And so we call on all that's good in the multiverse to help us. To fill ourselves full of love that we radiate to everything and everyone around us. Because what have we got to lose? Exactly that which we are trying to get. So it's always a matter of choice. It comes down to choice. Doesn't feel like it in the moment until we've made the choice and we experience the change in us. And then usually we feel like, oh, why did it take me so long to remember to do this? Does that answer your question? Yeah. So, one of the things that bothers Rebecca, she doesn't want to lose her mind between now and then. So the understanding is this: spirit is beyond the mind. Very often the mind is in the way. And what is it that we exactly surrender when we let go? We let go of the mind and emotion. That is what holds on to whatever it is we think is attacking us. And we allow the love to obliterate it all, which light does. Light just shines. And we choose the light. And we experience over and over again the power of love. And that is the foundation of the faith that allows us to keep choosing it, that informs us that that's the only choice worth making in every circumstance. And if we can't do it, we go to the Inasa temple and ask for help. Or let's say when we can't do it. Because it happens to all of us. Not every day, but enough days that we can say that it happens to all of us all the time. And we tend to complicate things endlessly because we think it should be complex. Knowing God. Knowing God and loving that which is within us are the same. Feeling gratitude and embracing life is knowing God. They are the same. And how beautiful it can get is beyond our imagination. Meditation is cultivating access to that beauty. That joy. That which is beyond the beyond. That which is beyond language. That which is not so readily available in this dimension. Many of you here met Lama Wandu. And if you feel into his energy, Lama Wandu is a Tibetan monk, Tibetan Lama, who taught many of us for a number of years Tibetan practices. And he recently died. And on the occasion of his death, Andrew and I knew the moment he died because we just felt it. We had been so closely connected to him for so many years, even though those years weren't recent, that we just felt him expand. And for whatever reason, that field is still completely available to all of us who studied with him. And I'm sure that Pamela and Wesley, you can feel it in the environment as we talk about it, because it's the pure land, what they call in Buddhism, the pure land. And it's a field of infinite we don't have language for it. Pure Land is a good description because there is purity and a feeling of that which is forever. But those words don't touch it at all. Andrew, do you have language for it?
Perfection, but that's
Sorry, perfection. Yeah, perfection. Wholeness. And we hear some of you saying, yeah, but that's not for me. That's not true. The very fact that you're here, it is for you. Just keep opening and opening and opening to the love that you are. That takes you everywhere. No one is banned from love, ever. It's a personal choice to choose love. It's a matrix of belief that we are unworthy of that love. It's a false matrix of belief. No one is unworthy. And that is really, really good news. Because nobody's worthy either. They're the two sides of the same coin. If we feel we're one in one moment, we're going to feel we're the opposite in another moment. So forget it all. It's not about worthy. It's about continuously experiencing, continuously choosing. We can't tell you how many times we have gone to the Anasa temple begging for relief from a crazy mind. This is humanity. This is being human. Recognizing that we have a choice. And at the same time that our insanity is completely welcome, because it is through allowing ourselves to experience our insanity and reaching beyond it into the love that is the foundation of every energy that manifests. Reaching through to that over and over and over again gives us access. To that which is beyond the beyond. Thank you for that question. Did that cover it? Did that answer it?
Yes. Just think sometimes these energies try to convince us it's hopeless.
Yes. He said these energies try to convince us it's hopeless. They do. They do. That's their nature, is to deceive us. Tell us that we don't deserve it. Because we're not perfect, we're not pure, we're not any of the things that we would expect to have to be. We're not good boy and Girl Scouts. But it has nothing to do with any of that. Nothing. This is not Santa Claus we're dealing with. Really. It's not about being good and being bad. You know, the case for goodness and badness is all in the eye of the perceiver. Anyway. Same with value. It can get very complicated very fast. And so it's not about the mind. It's about all of which is beyond our mind's capacity to grasp. Beauty beyond imagination. Perfection. The perfection that we were born from and will return to. And God knows why we're here. It's a puzzle, you know, and people have put it together in all kinds of ways. One of the things that Rebecca does when she learns something new is take it all in as though it's all true. And then over the years, things start to filter through. And one of the ones that's kind of filtering around right now is the idea of karma. Because, you know, from one perspective, from an astrological perspective, it makes a lot of sense. But if you look at it from a socio-political perspective, you know, it has made generation after generation of people accept subhuman conditions as their living quality because they were born into it. And there's nothing that they can do but live in that caste for this life, and hopefully they'll be born into a higher one the next life. That's essentially where that whole belief in karma ends up, with the caste system with 5 castes, and the lowest of the caste system is really a subhuman lifestyle, and they do all the work that nobody else will do, with the hope that, you know, 6 lifetimes from now they will graduate out of the human realm and into a God realm. From an American perspective, that's ridiculous. And from a global humanistic perspective, it's destructive. It's hard to hold the belief that everyone is of God and that some people are karmically trashed. And it's a little bit too narrow to be real, too logical. So we're just playing with that because everything, every philosophical idea has its time and place. Love transcends all of it. So we just go to the heart of the matter. We focus on love because in doing that, we cannot fail. And then we do the best we can in life. And we love with everything we have, and we share it with everybody we meet. You know, one thing about Oregon is that no matter what season it is, it's green. Everything is green. We have a few browns this season, but there's a lot of green. It's life. It's life. Living and breathing, plants, animals, sky. We're alive. And we're capable of joy. And we're capable of sharing that joy. Every single one of us, every single day. And everything in life has cycles. And we experience that. When I first started meditating, I had that image that life is like a bicycle tire. And sometimes you're on the top of the tire, and sometimes you're on the bottom. And if you just wait long enough, it'll cycle around again. And you'll be on the top, and then you'll be on the bottom, and then you'll be on the, and that it just goes like that. And that's not untrue. But the place to be is not on the tire, but in the center of the wheel. And then you just magnify that in every direction. And that's it gives you the flavor of multidimensionality. It's still a three-dimensional image, but it gives you the flavor. I mean, you turn all that into a gyroscope and have it go into infinity, and that gives you a, you know, sort of bigger image. But our mind can't contain the idea of the multiverse, let alone the universe. I mean, the universe, let alone the multiverse. So we'll say that meditation is really cultivating the experience of ourselves as spirit. And part of the reason to do that is so that death is there's no way to take the shock out of it. And it's quite possible that life, because of the way we're built as humans, that as we die, life itself makes it not nearly the shocking experience that it appears to be from the outside. How interesting. I just realized I had no concept of time. And so I looked at the clock and it's 20 after. We're happy to take another question. Well, since there are no questions, let's meditate some more. It's a good day for it. And in case we forget to say it at the end, we really wish you all a very happy Christmas. Joyous. So let's meditate. And no guidance. We'll just feel into ourselves as spirit. Thank you so much for coming. Mhm. Such a gift to be with you. Enjoy. Bye for now.